Now let's assume you are a CFO that you've been working for multiple years in the same firm or different firms, and you are thinking about moving to become a fractional CFO. There's definitely some different things that you have to develop while becoming your own business, right? Which is type of being a fractional CFO. So what tips would you give to those thinking about moving from being a regular CFO to moving into being a fractional CFO? Are there going to be new setup of skills that they have to develop, or what do you think are the key factors that they have to consider?
Yeah, this is a great question, Alex. And I get asked in my global community on this a lot. And I'll be honest with everybody. This is something that I'm learning too as well, right? Like I started my career in kind of the consultancy space with Ernst and Young, right? I grew up, I was leading audits, I was senior in audits, and then fast forward 18 years later, right? And now I'm back at that same point, right? So I think the number one thing is like if you want to make that leap, and I did it, right? So before starting Fresh FP&A a year ago full time and going at it full time, Fresh FP&A was like my passion project alongside having like a full time job for like 6 to 7 years, right? So like I was doing consultancy, I was doing financial leadership, I was leading some projects, I was doing a lot of thought leadership as well as having a full time job. So for me, it was like that side project that I was doing and I was grooming it, I was learning. And I tell a lot of people that maybe that is a good, when I made the leap over to Fresh FP&A, the last company that I was actually a part of, where things unfortunately didn't work out, they actually became one of the first clients that we brought on as a fractional CFO client in Fresh FP&A. So I strongly recommend everybody that making that transition, to go full time and part time, maybe you ease into it, right? Maybe you test the market out. Maybe you try to find exactly what you want to do. Maybe you want to find the niche of clients you want to work with, or you don't want a niche. I think experimenting as you have that safety net of your full-time job to be able to do it, right? That's how I did it. But they also have had like connections and people that I've talked with that have completely like quit their full-time job and go after it full time. But I think the number one thing is to know is like know your value, know the skills that you're bringing into it, and like truly what are your intentions around it, right? So my intention when I started Fresh FP&A is like, and I get asked this question, they're like, Chris, what's the goal of Fresh FP&A? And I'm like, they're like, do you want to grow it to like $10 million, $20 million? You want to have an exit? I don't really think about it in terms of like money, right? I never equated the value that I'm bringing and the impact that I want to make on the money that I'm making around it. I want to empower and enable, and I want us as a team to use our skills, passions, talents, and experience to help others realize and achieve greatness. That is the goal of Fresh FP&A. And as long as we're doing that, as long as we're providing value to clients, as long as we're empowering other people, that's really the objective. So I think to me, know your niche, know what your values are, know what skills that you want to provide, what kind of clients you want to serve, and what kind of regions you want to serve. And truly know, like, okay, if this did blow up, like, how do you scale yourself, right? A big area that I'm getting a lot of learning from, and in my first year that I'm sharing with others, is just like, how do you build the infrastructure around? Like, how do you build the technology that your firm needs? How do you build like the business development side? How do you build the marketing side? How do you build not only just the financial side of your organization, but when you make that transition, you're wearing all the hats. You're the CEO, you're the business manager, you're the payroll person. You have to be able to know, like, how do you build the infrastructure around to support your fractional CFO business? So that would be my advice for anyone thinking about making that leap from a full-time job to going full-time to fractional CFO, or thinking about doing it as a side hustle.
Yeah, I agree. Those are really, really good, great points.